At the beginning, we see Wee Wee playing her favorite online game. She is the most skilled player, always leading her team to victory. Today, she wins again before a player from the opposing team challenges her to a one-on-one match later in the day. Shortly after, her friend Xiaoxi tells her that something is wrong with the temperature control panel in the room. Wee Wee takes her to an electronics store, where she encounters Ling, the spoiled and arrogant girl. There, Wee Wee realizes that the salesman is trying to sell Ling a used flash drive. Being an expert in electronics, Wee Wee warns him not to deceive her. However, since Ling is always jealous of Wee Wee, she mocks her, claiming she knew from the beginning and never asked for her opinion. Wee Wee feels embarrassed and leaves to prepare for her one-on-one match. From behind, Nai watches Wee Wee, observing her gameplay and impressive dodging skills. He is deeply impressed by her abilities. After Wee Wee wins the match, she returns home, only to discover that one of her teammates wants to leave the team. Although she disagrees, she accepts his decision without hesitation. However, she soon finds out that he is joining her rival's team. Anger washes over her, and she logs out of the game, feeling humiliated that her teammate abandoned her for another team. Knowing that this will make others in the game mock her, she decides to return, not to celebrate his new team but to distribute her in-game resources to other players for free. Soon, Nai appears before her and says, "Forget about them. If people are going to talk, let them talk about something more important. You're joining my team." Wee Wee is shocked. Nai is the most skilled and famous player in the game's virtual world. She asks him why he wants her, and he tells her that she is the only female player with such skills. Since the competition is approaching, he wants her on his team. He then invites her to the joining ceremony and introduces her to his team members, who turn out to be his real-life roommates. Later, Nai and his team attend a major gaming development conference, where the most important company executives and game developers gather. Nai delivers an outstanding presentation, impressing everyone in attendance. As a result, he receives multiple job offers upon graduation. Afterward, he returns to the in-game celebration, which is actually a marriage announcement and Wee Wee. In the game, when a team leader joins another team, she must marry the new team leader. All the players, including Wee Wee's rival, are filled with jealousy and resentment because Nai is the best player of all. Later, Wee Wee discovers that her rival was once on Nai's team. When she asks him about it, he confirms that it's true. However, he explains that she was selfish and unable to cooperate with the team, so he had to remove her. Wee Wee feels victorious and overjoyed. The next day at university, Xiaoxi informs Wee Wee that Guang, a student from the language department, posted a picture of her getting out of someone's car on the university's website, spreading rumors about the car's owner. Furious, Wee Wee confronts him, demanding that he delete the picture or face serious consequences. That evening, when she logs into the game, she discovers that Nai has captured one of the players who had previously harassed her. He offers her the chance to eliminate him as she sees fit. Wee Wee pulls out her level 1 beginner's knife and starts attacking him, gradually reducing his health points. Some passing players witness this and criticize Nai, saying his actions are inappropriate. However, Nai coldly tells them to mind their own business or suffer the same fate. The players rush to Wee Wee's rival and her former teammate, let's call them Team Serpent, and tell them what happened. They claim that Wee Wee is controlling Nai in an unacceptable way and that they must find a way to stop them. Back in the real world, we shift to Ling, who is talking to her friend about wanting to meet Nai by any means possible. Her friend suggests pretending that her laptop is broken so she can ask Nai to fix it. However, Nai sends his friend in his place instead. Ling feels both frustrated and anxious, fearing that Nai may have figured out her true intentions, that she only wanted to meet him. But her friend reassures her that Nai is simply a busy person, and that's likely the only reason. A little later, Ling meets her cousin, Chang, and tells him what happened. She asks him for advice on how to get closer to Nai. Chang tells her that he has heard the name before. Nai is a talented game developer who has just received an offer from his father's company to sell his small business in exchange for a position at his uncle's company. Ling is thrilled by the news and decides that she will join her uncle's company as well, hoping to get a chance to meet Nai. The next day, Ling goes to her uncle and tells him that Chang convinced her to start working with him. She asks for permission to attend his meeting with Nai. When her uncle asks why, she claims she wants to learn from him. However, during the meeting, she notices that Nai is completely focused on business and does not even acknowledge her presence. Meanwhile, Wee Wee and Xiaoxi are at the same company after applying for a program that hires outstanding students in programming. Both girls are extremely nervous. At the same time, Nai feels that the company's offer is not suitable for him, so he tells the manager that he will think about it and respond within a few days. As he leaves, Ling follows him, introducing herself as his university classmate. She offers to persuade her uncle to give him a better deal, but Nai coldly replies that he doesn't need her help. Frustrated, Ling goes to Chang and asks him to convince their uncle to change the offer. However, Chang refuses, stating that they cannot interfere in business matters. Shortly after, Wei Wei and Zhao enter their interviews. When the interviewers ask Zhao about her experience and her online portfolio, she accidentally gives them Wei Wei's account name instead of her own due to nervousness. Afterward, she confesses her mistake to Wei Wei, who reassures her that she will handle the situation. Later, Wei Wei approaches Guang, the student who had previously spread a rumor about her. She tells him that as compensation for what he did, he must come with her to give private English lessons to a child she tutors. Left with no choice, Guang agrees. That evening, when Wei Wei logs into the game, she discovers that Team Serpent is engaged in a virtual battle among themselves. Meanwhile, her rival's leader is rescuing Wei Wei's former teammate. Together, they mock Wei Wei, taunting her for being abandoned while he joined her competitor's team. Wei Wei is furious, but Nai is even angrier when he sees this. He turns to his friends and declares that he will take revenge. This matter will not go unpunished. The next day, Wei Wei returns to university and meets Guang, who tells her that the English lessons are going well. He then invites her to have lunch with him after class as another apology for what he did. However, she refuses, saying that she is too busy today. That evening, when she logs back into the game, she discovers that Nai has challenged Team Serpent's leader to a one-on-one match as revenge. To make the match more interesting, he has given up 2 of his weapons, but he has set a condition. If he wins, Serpent's leader must lose 2 full levels in the game and delete the video mocking Wei Wei. Serpent's leader agrees, but in the end, he suffers a crushing defeat at Nai's hands. After the match, Wei Wei feels happy about what Nai has done and realizes that she admires his personality a lot. The next day, Guang approaches her and asks if she has a boyfriend. Wei Wei firmly replies that she doesn't, but adds that she wants to fall in love with someone like Nai. While she is referring to her gaming partner, Ling's friend happens to overhear their conversation. Recognizing Nai's name, she immediately realizes who Wei Wei is talking about. After Wei Wei leaves, Ling's friend mocks Guang, pointing out that despite being the most popular student in the language department, he is still chasing after a programming student who doesn't pay him any attention. She then decides to tell Ling about Wei Wei's feelings for Nai. Feeling frustrated, Guang decides to challenge Nai to a basketball match, hoping to prove that he is better than him. However, Nai wins effortlessly. A little later, Nai hears from his friends that Guang came here to challenge him in order to win over Wei Wei. Upon hearing her name, Nai realizes that she is the same girl he plays with in the game. He immediately challenges Guang again and defeats him once more. Returning to his room, Nai logs into the game and starts playing with Wei Wei. After a while, she shares an idea for a promotional video for their team. In the advertisement, Wei Wei will play Nai's enemy, but despite being on opposing sides, she will protect him from her soldiers because she loves him. Nai will stay with her until their wedding announcement, at which point the soldiers will attack. She will fight them off once again, but in the end, Nai will kill her himself, revealing that he had only used her to eliminate his enemies, with her being the first among them. Nai is impressed by the concept and tells her that he will work on it. Later, when Wei Wei logs out of the game, Zhao tells her that she wants to join their team to experience the world of virtual gaming firsthand and become a better game developer. When asked about her account, she confidently states her own username this time. In the next scene, Ling, having learned about Wei Wei's feelings for Nai, goes to the company and asks the HR employee for the applicant files. She introduces herself as the niece of the company owner. After receiving the documents, she instructs the employee to reject Wei Wei's application, claiming that she knows her personally and that Wei Wei is completely irresponsible. Meanwhile, Guang creates an account in the game, hoping to join and impress Wei Wei. At the same time, Wei Wei is at the library watching the promotional video she had planned with Nai. From a distance, Nai watches her, curious about her reaction. He had realized she was the same girl from the game ever since he first saw her playing and wanted to see how she would respond to the ad. Wei Wei discovers that Nai changed the ending of the video. Rather than betraying and killing the girl, he made it so that she sacrifices herself for him. Overcome with emotion, Wei Wei tears up. She immediately contacts Nai, who quickly hides so she won't hear his phone notification. When she asks him why he changed the ending, he simply replies that he thought it was better this way. She agrees, telling him that it truly is a better ending. When Wei Wei returns to her room, she finds Zhao playing the game. However, Zhao struggles to pass even the first stage. Wei Wei helps her defeat a monster she couldn't handle alone and also saves a beginner player, who turns out to be Guang. Mistaking Xiaoxi for an experienced gamer after seeing her defeat the monster, Guang asks to join her team and Xiaoxi accepts. Later, a member of the Snake team approaches Wee Wee and asks her to delete their promotional video because she wants her team to win the award for best advertisement. However, Wee Wee refuses. When she returns home, she discovers that their promotional video has actually won the competition. The prize is new outfits for the team's characters. Afterward, Wee Wee starts wondering whether Nai will eventually ask to meet her in real life so she can finally see his face and learn his true identity, or if they will remain just gaming friends. She has no idea that Nai has been watching her all along. Meanwhile, Nai's friend receives a call from Chang's father's company, inviting him for a meeting. They believe he is hardworking and talented. However, the young man informs Nai about it. Nai warns him to be cautious and not to trust them, as they are only trying to take over their small company. The next day, Wee Wee is sitting in the university cafeteria when Nai and his friends suddenly walk in. The girls around her scream in excitement, gushing about how handsome and amazing Nai is. Wee Wee hears his name and immediately realizes that he is her gaming partner. She stares at him in disbelief, unable to process that she is seeing him in real life. However, she quickly feels disheartened upon remembering that Ling also has feelings for him. Later, when Wee Wee returns home, she logs into the game to play with Nai. He informs her that today is the competition day. They start the match, but as soon as they press the start button, Wee Wee finds herself trapped in a strange place. Nai's task is to find her. If he fails, they both lose. Nai contacts Wee Wee and asks for any clues about her location. She tells him that she is near a lake. He heads there, solving the game's puzzles and overcoming obstacles in the form of monsters. Eventually, he faces the guardian of the magical bird, defeats him, and gains control of the bird, which he then uses to fly to Wee Wee's location. After rescuing her, it is announced that Nai is the first player to complete the mission. Meanwhile, Nai's friend Chao goes alone to meet the company director. The director praises and flatters him, telling him that Nai is not the sole owner of the company, so he doesn't have to listen to him. He then offers Chao a job at the company. Chao asks for some time to think. Later, when the director calls the chairman orders him to double the offer, insisting that they must recruit all the members of Nai's team. That way, Nai will eventually have no choice but to surrender to them. Ling, who overhears this conversation, confronts the director, telling him that what he is doing is unethical. He simply dismisses her, saying that she knows nothing about the business world and should not interfere. Chao returns to his friends and tells them what happened. Nai, however, remains firm, declaring that they will raise the money themselves and build their company without selling it to anyone. Back in the game, Wee Wee and Nai continue to advance through the stages, winning individual matches until both of them reach the finals. The next day, Xiaoxi receives an email from the company, informing her that she has been accepted into the internship program. She is overjoyed but confused. Why her and not Wee Wee, who is much more skilled? Neither of them realizes what Ling has done. Regardless, Wee Wee congratulates Xiaoxi and takes her shopping for new clothes. When they leave the mall, they unexpectedly run into Nai and his friends. For the first time, Nai looks directly at Wee Wee. She begins to wonder whether he already knows her real identity. Nai gets into the car, and Chao comments that he finds the company's offer tempting. He suggests that Nai reconsider, but Nai remains adamant that the deal is not right for them and will only cause harm. He urges Chao to stop talking and focus on driving. However, Chao gets distracted, and they end up in an accident. Meanwhile, Wee Wee is at home, waiting for Nai to log in so they can play the final match. She waits for a long time, but he never appears. At that moment, Chao is at the hospital, sitting beside Nai, who is injured. Overcome with guilt, he feels devastated, blaming himself for causing the accident. Unaware of what has happened, Wee Wee continues to wait. Eventually, the game announces that they have lost the match and the championship. She feels sad and frustrated, not understanding why Nai never showed up. At that moment, Ling is with her friends, who warn her to be careful because Nai seems to be interested in his gaming partner. However, Ling reassures them, explaining that she was present during Xiaoxi's interview and found out that Xiaoxi is the owner of the virtual character. She is confident that Nai will not like her in real life once he sees her. Meanwhile, Nai wakes up from his coma. The doctor tells him that he is fine and lucky to have passed the critical stage. As soon as the doctor leaves, Nai asks his friends to contact Wee Wee and explain that he missed the competition due to an important matter. However, they don't know how to confess the truth to her. At the same time, Wee Wee continues waiting for Nai's return, wondering why he disappeared from the game and never logged in again after seeing her that day. She questions whether he now hates her after discovering her real identity. As she replays their promotional video, she suddenly bursts into tears, realizing that she has fallen in love with him. Nai, on the other hand, notices that the views on the video are increasing by exactly one every now and then. He realizes that Wee Wee is the one replaying it, so he sets up a notification system to alert him every time she watches the video. Meanwhile, Guang notices that Wee Wee has been feeling down ever since Nai stopped playing with her. Seeing this as his chance to get closer to her, he approaches her friend Zhao Shi and asks for Wee Wee's gaming account. However, Zhao Shi tricks him by giving him her own account instead. When Guang plays with her, he discovers that she is the same girl who once saved him in the game. He asks to join her team, and the two end up getting married in the game. He is thrilled, completely unaware that she is actually Zhao Shi and not Wee Wee. At the same time, Wee Wee receives a call from Phone Games, offering to buy their advertisement. She is overjoyed and logs into the game to discuss it with her teammates. That's when she finds an apology message from Nai, explaining that he was in an accident but is fine now. Wee Wee's happiness grows even more, and she shares the news about the advertisement with him. Nai tells her that they need to meet in real life to discuss the business offer properly and sets up a time for them to see each other. Excited, Wee Wee goes shopping with her friends to find the perfect outfit for the meeting. She picks a red dress but later decides it is not suitable, so she opts for something more casual for university instead. On the day of the meeting, she waits eagerly for Nai. When she finally sees him, she is surprised that he does not seem shocked to discover her real identity. He already knows that she is his university classmate. Nai then invites her to have a meal. Just as they are about to leave, his friends call, saying they are at a basketball match. Nai tells them to wait because he is currently on a date. Hearing the word date, Wee Wee instantly blushes. Nai tells her that he will get his motorcycle so they can go watch the game together. Although Wee Wee wants to refuse, so she doesn't seem too eager, she quickly hops onto the bike and they head to the stadium. When they arrive, Wee Wee rushes toward her friends while Nai heads straight to the court. Almost immediately, a swarm of girls gathers around him. Wee Wee is surprised to see how popular Nai is among girls and wonders what makes him so special. However, Nai ignores them and walks over to her, apologizing for cutting their date short and promising to make it up to her tomorrow. The other girls, including Ling, are visibly annoyed, especially Ling, who is furious and wonders how Nai knows Wee Wee. Nai then takes Wee Wee onto the court and introduces her to his friends, who are shocked that he has finally decided to meet his online gaming partner. Meanwhile, Guang is at a store, buying a gift for Zhao Shi, still believing that she is Wee Wee. However, as soon as he steps out, his friend shows him a picture of Wee Wee with Nai. His friend points out that Nai tagged her gaming account, and Guang suddenly realizes that he has been fooled all along. He feels like an idiot. At the same time, Ling is also ranting to her friend, complaining about how foolish she was for not realizing that Wee Wee was the real owner of the account and not Zhao Shi. She keeps yelling until her friend gets tired of listening and leaves. As Ling walks away, she overhears Guang telling his friend that he is upset with Wee Wee. He believes she used him, making him help her a lot in the game, only to abandon him and go to Nai. Seeing an opportunity, Ling secretly records their conversation, thinking she can use it against Wee Wee later. That night, Zhao Shi falls ill due to food poisoning and her friends rush her to the hospital. While her condition is not serious, the doctor advises her to stay overnight for observation. The next morning, Nai arrives at the hospital to take Wee Wee and her friends back to the dorms. He then tells Wee Wee that he wants to take her somewhere quiet to discuss the advertisement. Nai brings Wee Wee to his private office and shows her the new game he is currently developing. He then tells her that she will receive all the advertisement profits. He does not want anything for himself. He also assures her that he will convince their teammates since she was the one who came up with the idea in the first place. Meanwhile, Zhao Shi is left alone in her room after the other girls leave. She decides to log into the game, where Guang spots her. Although he is still angry, believing she is Wee Wee, his frustration fades the moment she speaks to him. He spends time with her, thinking that he might be able to steal her away from Nai. When Wee Wee returns to the dorm, she notices that Zhao Shi is completely lost in thought. She teases her, saying that she must be talking to a guy. Zhao Shi, feeling embarrassed, remains silent and avoids discussing anything with Wee Wee. The next day, Wee Wee meets with the company representative, who offers $20,000 in exchange for the advertisement. However, she declines the money and instead requests a set of the most powerful in-game monsters for her and her teammates. When she returns home and tells Nai about it, he is thrilled by her selflessness, choosing to share the rewards with the team instead of keeping them for herself. A little later, Wee Wee mentions that she has a friend who needs help in the game. Nai happily agrees to assist. Her friend is beyond excited and cannot believe that Nai himself will be playing with her. As they enter the game, they encounter a major challenge, getting past the evil witch's lair. There, they run into the members of the Snake Guild, who are struggling to advance. The two teams decide to work together, and through their combined efforts, they overcome the witch's obstacles. When they finally reach the witch, she mocks them for being too weak to challenge her so boldly. Despite their best efforts, the battle proves to be incredibly tough, and both teams are ultimately defeated, though they manage to avoid major losses. Meanwhile, at her uncle's company, Ling overhears him speaking with another investor. He expresses his desire to merge with phone games, believing this will give him access to Nai. The investor warns that Nai will likely refuse or demand a high price, but the director declares that he will get Nai at any cost, even if it means destroying his own company. Ling is horrified by her uncle's words. On the day of the business negotiations, Wee Wee encourages Nai, assuring him that everything will be fine. When Nai arrives at the event, he is immediately approached by Ling's uncle. The man reminds Nai that he once rejected his offer, but he is certain that soon, Nai will be the one begging to work for him. Nai ignores him and proceeds to meet with the other company executives. Shortly after, Ling arrives, dressed in her most elegant attire. She discreetly watches Nai, secretly wishing she could make him fall in love with her. Meanwhile, Wee Wee is in her room when she notices an anonymous post in the university group. The post mocks her, questioning if she is even a real woman and claiming that Nai would never be interested in someone like her. Wee Wee feels deeply hurt and discouraged. Zhao Shi, however, is convinced that Ling is behind the post. Back at the party, Ling remains firm in her decision not to speak to Nai at all, unless he comes to her first. And indeed, after a while, Nai passes by her and asks, "Aren't you Ling?" She replies, "Yes," and he informs her that her uncle is looking for her and asks her to go see him. Ling feels happy that Nai finally spoke to her. Nai then leaves the hall and calls Wee Wee, telling her that he has wrapped up the event and secured the advertisement deal. To celebrate, he invites her and her friends out for a meal. Meanwhile, after the party, Ling happily goes to her friend and tells her that her advice was really helpful. Just as she had said, when she didn't chase after Nai, he came to talk to her himself. She is thrilled about it. At the same time, Nai is in the car with Wee Wee and her friends. He asks them where they want to eat, and Zhao Shi quickly suggests a particular restaurant. When they arrive, Wee Wee notices that Ling and her friend are also there. She immediately realizes Zhao Shi's intention to provoke Ling. Annoyed, Wee Wee scolds Zhao Shi, telling her that they don't want any trouble and that she doesn't want to upset Ling in any way. When Nai returns, Wee Wee tells him she no longer wants to eat at that restaurant and wants to go somewhere else. Without hesitation, Nai agrees. However, by then it's too late. Ling has already seen them together. Ling's friend reassures her, saying that this is Nai's first love, and he surely won't settle for her forever. But soon, Ling receives a message from another friend, warning her that her companion is deceitful and only cares about herself, advising her to be cautious. Later that night, after spending time with Wee Wee and her friends, Nai drops Wee Wee off at her house. She then tells him about a post made by the anonymous account on the website. However, Nai hugs Wee Wee to comfort her and tells her not to worry about it. Wee Wee feels reassured and happy, sensing that Nai's feelings for her are real and not just part of the game. The next day, both Guang and Zhao Shi are late for class, so the professor punishes them by making them produce the graduation documentary on their own. While filming, Zhao Shi starts feeling something strange towards her. But when he sees Wee Wee and Nai together, Zhao Shi asks him to interview them. However, Guang refuses and decides to leave. That evening, as Nai and Wee Wee are on their way home, Wee Wee asks him to log into the game that night because she has a surprise for him. When he does, she gives him a rare weapon in the game. Nai is delighted. The following day, the students begin preparing to leave the university dorms. Naturally, Nai goes to pick up Wee Wee. While in the car, he notices that she has a cold, so he gives her some medicine he had with him. In return, she gives him a small cactus flower as a gift. When he takes her to the airport, he tells her to keep in touch. Since there are no flights to his city, he plans to take the train instead. Before parting, Nai kisses Wee Wee's forehead, telling her he will miss her until the break is over. When Wee Wee arrives home, her parents welcome her warmly. She starts telling them everything that happened during the year and feels happy to be with them again. Later, she picks up her phone to call Nai. However, when her mother walks in, she pretends to be talking to a friend. Nai is with his friends, telling them that many companies are interested in buying their game. He encourages them to work hard so they can complete it and accept one of the offers. He assures them that he is counting on them. After returning home, Nai calls Wee Wee and they talk all night. When she realizes that he's hungry, she orders food for him. Eventually, they both fall asleep, each feeling happy. The next day, Nai's friend discovers that someone has hacked into his computer. He immediately calls Nai, who installs an alarm system that will notify them if the hacker tries to access the computer again. They become concerned that the hacker might be trying to steal their game. However, Nai reassures them that the hacker didn't enter the game files, so he likely doesn't know about them yet. Nai manages to pinpoint the hacker's location. He's nearby. He tells his friends that they need to find him to figure out what he wants. That night, while everyone is asleep, the hacker logs in again. This time, Nai is able to track his number and calls him. It turns out that the hacker is a young man working at a nearby coffee shop. The hacker challenges Nai, claiming to be better than him at programming. He then reveals that there is a hacking competition coming up and dares Nai to face him in it. If Nai wins, the hacker will agree to join their team. Nai accepts the challenge and ultimately wins. He then introduces the hacker to his friends, revealing that his name is Ki. He praises his programming skills, marking the beginning of a new chapter for their team. After that, both Nai and Wee Wee enter the game and want to marry their pets, but their request is denied because they are too young. Later, Wee Wee goes to buy a new mobile phone and sends Nai a message from it. She feels happy when Nai calls her back and asks her to return to the city because he misses her. Excited, Wee Wee starts packing her things. When her parents ask why she is returning so soon after just a few days, she tells them that she has found a new job and wants to go there. When Wee Wee arrives at Nai's company, she expects him to come and greet her, but instead, she finds Director Fong, who has made an offer to buy the game. Everyone is gathered to welcome Fong. However, Nai steps out of his office, walks up to Wee Wee, and greets her with a kiss. Wee Wee feels extremely nervous because she realizes that their fake relationship in the game has turned into something real in real life. Yet, deep down, she feels very happy. After the meeting with the director ends, Nai returns to his office but does not find Wee Wee there. When he calls her, she tells him that she went to her apartment to clean up. Nai offers to help her, and she agrees. When Nai arrives at Wee Wee's place, he finds her busy cleaning, so he joins her and works hard. Once they finish, they go out to eat together, then take a short walk. During their time outside, Wee Wee asks Nai why he never officially asked her to be his girlfriend. Nai smiles and tells her that he thought it was unnecessary since it was obvious. Wee Wee asks if she can train at his company, and Nai agrees. The next morning, Nai picks her up to take her to work. At the company, he introduces her to the employees and informs her that she will work under an employee named Shuang. Shuang explains that while the game is performing well during its trial phase, it is not compatible with all mobile devices. Wee Wee's task is to compile a report on which devices can run the game and which cannot. Being hardworking, Wee Wee rents every phone model available on the market and installs the game on all of them to test its compatibility. The next day, she submits her report to Shuang, who is shocked that she completed the task in just one day. After reviewing her detailed report, he informs Nai about it. Nai realizes that Wee Wee is truly a hardworking girl who deserves a job at his company. Later, Wee Wee tells Nai that she will leave now to meet her friend Zhao Shi at the bus station. After she leaves, Shuang receives a mysterious call, and the person on the other end tells him that everything is ready. A short while later, Zhao Shi arrives, and Wee Wee is thrilled to see her after such a long time. She takes Zhao Shi to her home. A little later, Wee Wee leaves for work again. Zhao Shi, with a sly smile, teases her, saying that she must have missed Nai. However, Wee Wee insists that she is only going to work. After Wee Wee leaves, Zhao Shi stays at home alone until she receives a call from Guang. He asks her to return the money she borrowed from him, but she tells him that she doesn't have the money at the moment. Guang then suggests that she work for him at his house as compensation. Zhao Shi agrees and goes there, only to discover that he wants her to be a cat sitter. She refuses immediately, as she is allergic to cats. Meanwhile, Shuang assigns Wee Wee a new task. There is a specific text that needs to be written 10,000 times. Since she is capable of handling difficult tasks, she is expected to complete it. However, being smart, Wee Wee repeats the text 100 times manually and then writes a program that automatically replicates it, allowing her to finish the task much faster. At the same time, Zhao Shi receives a call informing her that she has been accepted into Ling's company after successfully completing her training period. However, when she arrives, she is surprised to find that she has been given a private office and is being treated exceptionally well by the employees. Soon, a rumor spreads that she is the girlfriend of the chairman's son, which is why she is receiving special treatment. This upsets Zhao Shi, leaving her feeling discouraged. In the next scene, Shuang is sitting with a mysterious man in a cafe, handing him some files in exchange for money. He quickly returns to work after convincing his colleagues that he was just going to the restroom. However, everyone notices that he was lying, as he is soaking wet from the rain. Wee Wee offers to go get him some medicine, and when she steps outside, she gets drenched in the rain as well. Nai sees her and places his coat over her, then takes her to his home since it's already late. He tells her he'll take her home in the morning. When he drops her off, he suggests that she take the day off since she seems to have caught a slight cold and asks her to take care of herself. Later, Xiaoxi tells Wee Wee that she is heading to work and asks her to take care of herself too. She mentions that she will be late because she has to clean Guang's house after work. Before leaving, she asks Wee Wee to log into the game using her account because there's a level she can't get past. Wee Wee agrees, and when she logs in, she finds Guang online. She greets him, and because he always plays with Wee Wee, he assumes this account belongs to her. Wee Wee is surprised that he thinks it's her account, but she chooses not to correct him. The next day, Wee Wee is feeling better and returns to work. Shuang continues giving her multiple tasks, and she manages to complete them all. Since she works late, she often returns home with Nai, to the point where she almost lives with him. One day, while playing the game, she receives a message from a player named Butterfly, who is Ling's friend and had previously warned Wee Wee about her new friend. Butterfly tells her that they've been playing together for a long time and would like to meet her in real life. Wee Wee agrees. A little later, Nai texts Wee Wee, telling her that he will pick her up today to teach her how to swim. He asks her to grab his swimsuit from his locker and buy one for herself. Wee Wee decides to meet Butterfly first and go shopping with her before heading to Nai. When Wee Wee meets Butterfly, the latter is surprised by how beautiful she is, contradicting the negative comments and bullying Wee Wee faces from the Snake team in the game. She tells Wee Wee she never realized she was this beautiful. After dinner, the two girls go swimsuit shopping together. Later, Wee Wee heads to Nai, who begins teaching her how to swim. She feels shy seeing him in swimwear but takes a picture of him happily. On the other hand, Butterfly tells her friends that she met Wee Wee in real life and that she is completely different from what people say. She is actually a kind and beautiful girl. Ling and her friends, including Chang's girlfriend, who also plays the game with them, hear this and decide to visit Wee Wee at work. They believe that Xiaoxi, who had given them Wee Wee's account as her own, is actually the real Wee Wee. The next day, they all go to the company and see Xiaoxi. Chang's girlfriend remarks that Wee Wee is not as pretty as Butterfly claimed, calling her an ordinary, if not below average girl. They use this opportunity to make Xiaoxi run errands for them, asking her to bring them drinks. However, Chang steps in and tells her to go back to work. After leaving, the girls decide to come up with a plan to expose Wee Wee in the game, revealing that she is just a simple girl working for Chang. They log into the game and suggest that, since they've been playing together for so long, they should finally meet in real life. They ask Butterfly to invite Wee Wee since she is her real friend, and Butterfly reluctantly agrees. In the next scene, Wee Wee is in the car with Nai when she receives a call from his mother. His mother warmly welcomes her and asks to meet her soon, as she wants to see her son's girlfriend. When Wee Wee gets home, she finds Xiaoxi looking upset. She asks her what's wrong, and Xiaoxi explains that Chang's girlfriend and her friends bullied her, saying she doesn't seem as skilled as she is in the game. Wee Wee reassures her and offers to play using her account to level up her character and get her better weapons. A little later, the Butterfly calls Wee Wee and tells her there is a group dinner, but she doesn't mention that it's with their gaming friends to make sure Wee Wee comes. When she arrives, everyone is shocked to realize that Wee Wee is the same Wee Wee from the game and that she is just as beautiful as the Butterfly had described. However, one of the girls accuses her of lying because they had seen the real Wee Wee at the company themselves. Wee Wee remembers what Xiaoxi had said and realizes that everyone at the company thinks she is Xiaoxi. So, she tells them it's just a misunderstanding and that she is the real Wee Wee. When they don't believe her, she gets up, logs into her personal account, and even defeats some of the girls using combat skills that no one else possesses. After they confirm her identity, they start having dinner. Wee Wee then tells them that her boyfriend is coming to pick her up. When Nai arrives, everyone is shocked to discover that her boyfriend is actually Nai, as they had assumed they were only friends in the game. The girls leave her out of frustration. At the same time, Xiaoxi is playing the game with Guang. When she enters, she gives him the sword she obtained from playing with Wee Wee. But as soon as he takes it, he strikes her with it and tells her she is a fraud. He accuses her of acting lovingly toward him in the game while being in love with Nai in real life. At that moment, Xiaoxi is stunned and realizes that Guang has thought she was Wee Wee all this time. Meanwhile, Ling is with her friend. When the girl goes to the bathroom, Ling picks up her phone and finds a video she recorded of Guang talking to his friend about deceiving Wee Wee. Ling takes the video and goes to Nai, showing it to him. She tells him that she doesn't mean to make him doubt Wee Wee, but she is just worried about him being deceived. Nai takes the video and shows it to Wee Wee. Wee Wee tells him that her must have mistaken Xiaoxi for her and doesn't realize the truth. Wee Wee then goes to meet Guang and tells him to stop spreading rumors. She shows him her account, saying that it is her real account, while the account he always plays with belongs to Xiaoxi. Guang is shocked, especially when Wee Wee tells him that Xiaoxi never knew he thought she was Wee Wee and that she actually has feelings for him. After Wee Wee leaves, Nai calls Guang and asks to meet him at the basketball court. He warns him to stay away from Wee Wee because she is his girl, and he won't allow him to spread rumors about her. The next day, Guang decides to meet Xiaoxi to apologize for his actions and the misunderstanding. Xiaoxi asks him just one question, whether he actually loves her or not. Guang gets flustered and tells her that the whole time, he thought she was Wee Wee, while he only saw her as a close friend. Xiaoxi feels heartbroken and leaves. Later, when she arrives at work, the secretary tells her that Chang is calling for her. When she meets him, Chang asks her why she lied to them during the interview, claiming to be Wee Wee from the game. He tells her that they hired her in the first place because they thought she was Wee Wee, but that aside, it's not an issue. In the evening, Wee Wee returns home to find Xiaoxi packing her suitcase. Xiaoxi tells her that she is leaving. When Wee Wee asks why, Xiaoxi explains that Guang loved her only because he thought she was Wee Wee, and she got the job because they mistook her for Wee Wee. She says she isn't angry with her, but she just wants to be alone for a while. Wee Wee then asks her to stay at home, saying that she will go stay at Nai's place instead. When Wee Wee arrives, Nai welcomes her and reassures her that everything will be fine. The next day, Nai holds a meeting with his friends and employees, informing them that the game needs to be launched soon. He emphasizes that they must work hard to avoid any potential issues. Meanwhile, Chang is with his fiancée, who continues to spread rumors and speak ill of Wee Wee and Xiaoxi. Frustrated, Chang decides to break up with her and tells her never to contact him again, realizing that she has only been using him. As he leaves, he calls his secretary and asks her to give Xiaoxi an application form that requires her address. He wants to obtain her address for himself. On his way, he sees Wee Wee carrying a suitcase and offers to give her a ride. However, she declines, saying that Nai is coming to pick her up. Chang then tells her that Nai once applied to work at their company but was rejected, implying that he isn't as skilled as she thinks. Wee Wee, however, tells him to stop, stating that Nai is talented and ambitious and will soon reach a high position. She also reminds him that he only works at the company because it belongs to his father and that he doesn't truly understand game development. At the same time, Guang is feeling guilty for upsetting Xiaoxi. He decides to send her a message apologizing for what happened, but she refuses to respond. This only deepens Guang's guilt, so the next day he meets Ling and her friend, warning them to stay away from Wee Wee and Xiaoxi and to never speak ill of them again. Later, Wee Wee is at home with Nai, but she falls asleep. Meanwhile, Guang sends her apology message to apologize for her too. Seeing this, Nai decides to reply to the messages himself. Elsewhere, an employee named Chuang is seen meeting with a man to whom he had previously given money. It turns out that this man is the assistant of Ling's uncle, the owner of the company, who has been trying to go after Nai. It becomes clear that Chuang is betraying Nai, leaking confidential information about him in exchange for having some charges against him dropped. The man then returns to the company and informs the manager about everything Chuang has reported. At that moment, Chang arrives at the company and tells his father that he wants to learn everything about programming as quickly as possible. He declares that he will work without rest to prove that he is better than Nai. He then gathers his employees and announces that they must launch a new game into the market as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Nai meets with his employees and informs them that the CEO of Phone Corporation has moved up the game's delivery deadline by 15 days. This puts additional pressure on them, and they are forced to work even harder. Many employees stay overnight at the office to meet the deadline, with Wee Wee flipping their pillows to make them more comfortable. At the same time, Chang also starts working tirelessly to ensure the successful release of his game. Later, Guang finally manages to reach Xiaoxi and sincerely apologizes for everything he did. At last, Xiaoxi forgives him. She then goes to meet Wee Wee, feeling happy, and tells her that she has started talking to Guang again. On her way back, Xiaoxi notices Chuang getting into a car with a strange man. She finds this odd, as employees are not supposed to leave the office at this time. When Wee Wee returns to the office, she sees the team successfully running a smooth and impressive demo version of the game. Nai rewards them by giving everyone a break until the day they travel to deliver the game to Phone Corporation. Afterward, the employees go shopping for outfits for the meeting. During this time, Chuang secretly calls Ling's uncle's company's deputy and informs him about everything that has happened. That evening, Nai and Wee Wee return home to pack their bags. Just then, Nai's parents arrive and finally meet Wee Wee. They immediately take a liking to her and believe she is a great match for Nai. The next day, Nai departs for his trip, and Wee Wee bids him farewell, wishing him good luck. Meanwhile, Xiaoxi goes to university to meet her friend, where she unexpectedly runs into Guang. She greets him quickly and leaves. Later, when Wee Wee goes to collect her salary, she notices a magazine cover featuring the man she saw with Chuang. Realizing his identity, she discovers that he is a spy. Wee Wee tries to call Nai to warn him, but his phone is off. When Nai arrives at the meeting, he is surprised to find that Ling's uncle's company team is also there to pitch their own game to Phone Corporation. During the presentations, Chang gives an impressive demonstration of his game, which greatly impresses the director. However, when it's Nai's turn to present, Ling's uncle's assistant causes an issue in the game servers, shocking everyone. Despite the setback, Nai and his team work together to quickly fix the problem. Nai then tells the director that what sets skilled programmers apart is their ability to handle any error efficiently. He proceeds to present his game, which features the 4 seasons of the year and offers a highly realistic experience. The director is amazed by it and decides to purchase it. Outside the meeting room, Chang overhears his father's secretary saying that he failed to sabotage the servers properly, which is why they lost. At that moment, Chang realizes that his father had been cheating all along. After their victory, Nai and his team go out to celebrate. Wee Wee then informs Nai about Chuang's betrayal. However, Nai tells her that he already knew. Chuang had previously confessed that Ling's uncle's company had filed a lawsuit against his friend, and in exchange for dropping the charges, he had agreed to become their spy. Nai had been feeding him only the information he wanted them to know. After finishing their celebrations, Nai decides to take the team on a vacation. They all start playing the game together, and during the session, Chang logs in and sends Wee Wee a message, declaring that he will delete their game now that he knows they had been cheating. The next day, Nai appears in a television interview as the youngest game developer to sell his game to a global company. During the interview, he credits his success to his friends, his team, and his fiancée, Wee Wee. Wee Wee is surprised, as Nai had never proposed to her before, but she feels happy nonetheless. On graduation day, it is revealed that Xiaoxi and Guang have finally started dating. Later, Nai takes Wee Wee to the new office he bought and tells her that, from now on, she will officially be part of the development team, not just an office worker. The drama ends with Nai and Wee Wee's wedding.